all. I hope you're doing well on this rather grey, grim, miserable Friday. It's a bit miserable, isn't it, this weather, but not so miserable in terms of the football from last night. I enjoyed that one. I did enjoy it, I've got to say. I know there's a few people obviously want to not massive fans of Liverpool, of course, but yeah, it's always get a bit of enjoyment watching Tottenham fall over like that. And I've got to be honest, I was quite expecting it. I was pretty confident all day that it was going to be that kind of scoreline. I expected Liverpool to win quite well, but yeah, it was good. I want to talk about the stadium, but before I do, just want to say, if you're new to the channel and possibly you are someone that's been on the channel quite a few times and you've watched videos regularly but you don't realize you're not a subscriber, do subscribe. It really does help us out. It takes a few seconds. It's free, of course, to do so. Yeah, we really appreciate it. And also hit that like button. We have been getting over 500 likes now on our videos quite regularly, and that is it's pretty great. The next will be the 1,000 mark, or maybe go 750. We'll go 750 next, but we're gonna, as we build our audience. But yeah, if we can get over 500 likes for this video, that'd be fantastic. Let's talk about the stadium. The ongoing bloody stadium. There's always issues, isn't there, with this stadium and West Ham. This is my tea, so bear with me a second. My daughter, she did that at school. An artist. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, the stadium? It's a rumbling situation all the time. I don't like it. And what I'm referring to here, by the way, is this legal dispute that West Ham have won. West Ham have won a legal dispute with, it's not the LLDC anymore. It's basically the governing body that look after now the stadium, which has continually changed his hands quite regularly, it feels. It's a total loss-making stadium for the government. West Ham have wanted to take it off their hands now for quite some time. I just don't feel that's going to happen, especially with Sadiq Khan being London mayor. He's got no appetite at all to do that sort of deal, which is a shame, because I feel like it would just benefit everybody, benefit the club. We could take the stadium on and deal with it at what we want to do with it, turn it into a football stadium over time, etc., and have a bit more freedom, of course, to operate as we want to there. But and also the government then aren't left with this stadium that's just loss making. You know, I think they accept the fact that's what it is, but the numbers are ridiculous. But what's happened is West Ham have gone back into yet another legal dispute with them, which just feels like it's never ending. It can't be good, can it? It cannot be a good situation to have like a landlord and a tenant forever in court. It's ridiculous. I mean, because in fact, we've only been there a handful of years. It just feels like it's an ongoing issue. But this issue is regarding Daniel Kretinsky, actually. Daniel Kretinsky took over or bought 27% shares in the club, as we know. And basically, because of this embarrassment clause that's now expired, the reason that was inserted was because if West Ham were to benefit from renting the stadium, i.e. this club value goes up and then there's a sale, someone comes along and says, I'll tell you what, I'll buy West Ham for £1 billion, whatever. They'll see that as saying, well, hang on a minute, you've benefited from our stadium. This is not your stadium, you rented it. So if you benefit financially from selling the football club because of the stature of the club now, because of the stadium, then we want a slice of it. I kind of get it. It makes sense. But it's expired. However, prior to it expiring, Kretinsky came in and bought his shares. Now, that then led to the government, effectively, or the LLDC having a deal in place to say, well, we get a percentage of the money that's then been injected to the club. So West Ham have challenged that. It feels like we've probably, from what I understand it, they basically looked back at the agreement that was in place and what the money that was paid out, and we felt that we overpaid. They weren't entitled to what we gave them, and in fact, we wanted £5 million. Basically, that was what we were due back. Now that's now been resolved, and West Ham have won. West Ham won the argument. West Ham will be getting £5 million. Wow. Not bad, is it? £5 million back in the coffers. All right, football sense is not a lot, but still, it's £5 million. It's a lot of money, and it certainly helps us out. I don't like the fact we're arguing with them all the time. I really don't. I think it's just not good, is it? Like I've just said, you're renting a property with your family or whatever, or, and you're constantly having legal battles with your bloody landlord. That's not a good situation to be in. It's just untenable. I feel like that's what the stadium situation is now. It feels like it's untenable. We can't be there for much longer the way this is going on, because this is just not a healthy relationship. It's got to be resolved one way or another. The way I would resolve it is to try and get a deal for West Ham to take the stadium on. It just feels like it would make sense for everybody. But it just feels like we're not getting closer to that, even though there has been times when there's been a bit of momentum behind that, especially from West Ham's perspective. But with as I say, with Sadiq Khan in charge, there's just no avenue there to get this over the line, because it's just basically boom. No, it's our stadium. And West Ham aren't entitled to it, so it is annoying. But I just, as I say, I'm not comfortable with all this legal stuff. I really don't. But I like the fact West Ham have won that battle. Obviously, that's a good one. But I really wish they would be able to resolve this in other ways beside going to bloody court. Considering the fact they share offices, do you know what I mean? I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, how can you imagine the atmosphere in that place when you're having legal disputes with someone that's sitting over there? Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous on a day-to-day basis. It's absolute car crash. One interesting development though on the stadium. There's a couple of things. First of all, we talked about this in a video 3 weeks ago now, maybe even more, regarding Amazon. So Amazon and West Ham are in talks. And they're in talks about possibly coming over to take West Ham being the main sponsor of the shirt, because we're going to lose Betway. But also they're looking at a package to take on the stadium naming rights, which would be great if we can get that over the line. I feel like that would be a big move for the club, actually. I feel like that would be a big step in the right direction financially, and also for stature of the club. We want to push on, want to grow. I just feel like that would be we've got to take advantage of this situation. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I'm finding it after all these years we've been at this stadium so far, we still haven't got a naming rights situation sorted out. It is crazy. So that is a good thing. But what has been an interesting development is we know the stadium's not perfect. I mean, it's far from it. Let's be honest. It's improved from when we arrived at day one to where we are now, but there's a hell of a lot that needs to carry on in terms of improvement. And West Ham are actually very conscious of this now. Understand it that the club are now holding talks. Well, with the West Ham Way. West Ham Way were involved in these talks. Other outlets are involved in these talks. We've got patrons of the West Ham Way, as far as I understand it, that are attending meetings with the club. We've got people that they've come to the fans and said, what can we do to make this stadium better? Besides knocking it down and build a football stadium, might not get that one, but put that in the old suggestion box. Bin it. Bulldoze the shit out of it and build a new one. I'll write that one down. I think they are trying to make improvements in the stadium. I want them to get rid of that bloody wall. I tell you, that is one thing I want to see the back of. I sit right by it. You know, that stupid wall they put between the away fans and the home fans in the corner. I'm on the corner of the West Stand, right? And it's right by me, this flipping wall. And I hate it. I think it's the most stupid thing. And funny enough, I was actually invited to go to this meeting. I couldn't do it. It was my daughter's birthday. The very same daughter that drew this cow. And yes, it is a cow, clearly a cow. She did this a few years ago, by the way. She's a much better artist than that now. It's a nice cup of tea. Yeah, I don't like it. And I was invited to this meeting and I couldn't go. And I would have said about the wall. But they aren't trying to make changes. I don't know the details of it yet. I don't know. All I know is that the questions have gone out. They're going to come back and they're going to keep having regular meetings. I would like to attend. If I can attend, if I can make sure I can try, I will try and get attendance. I will try my best to get included in on this, because I'd like to then come back and talk about it and explain what's happening and get the general vibe. I mean, I probably would be unable to talk about certain things, but you know what I mean? I want to understand exactly what they're planning on doing. But it does feel like that the club are trying to improve this stadium, and it's about bloody time. It's not good enough. Let's be honest here. That stadium is not good enough. It needs improving. There are so many issues with it there, and they need to work out ways of getting the atmosphere better. Because we've been there when it's been a good atmosphere. You know, we've had European nights there. We've had some great experiences there so far. I'm not having it that you can't generate an atmosphere. I've been there where it's been absolutely rocking. Just need to make it more feel like home. Make it more intimidating. The fact is, because they're trying to quash things like someone threw a coin once, we've got to put this wall up. It's killed the atmosphere in that corner. Why would you do that? That's an intimidating corner. You know what I mean? You want to make it intimidating for the away fans and for the away team. This is the whole point. We're just so crap at doing things like that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we've sort of lost our way as a football club in remembering that a home ground in football should be intimidating. Upton Park was bloody intimidating for the opposition. Away fans didn't like it. I remember when we played Tottenham there, it actually might have been, is it the final season we played them? There we won 1-0, Mikel Antonio header, if I remember rightly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. And Tottenham fans were like, they looked like they were like stones. They were just staring like frightened because the atmosphere was just so intense. West Ham, we wanted to win that game, and it was under the floodlights, and it was fierce. And I'll tell you what, they did not feel comfortable. And I look back to those days and think that's how it should be. Do you know what I mean? You want to feel intimidated. You want to think, oh, this is getting right on top of you. I mean, we might take the piss out of Liverpool and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you what, you go to Anfield and you feel it. Do you know what I mean? And it's a tough place to go. Away fans don't like it. Well, that's right. Us fans don't mind it, but the bloody players feel it. Do you know what I mean? Think this is intense atmosphere. It's what we need to be doing. Got enough people in that stadium to make it intense. It's not set out correctly how they've done it. And it really does need sorting out. And things like bloody letters going out as well, telling everyone, by the way, persistent standing won't be tolerated. I'll do one. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what we want. We want persistent standing because that again generates atmosphere in certain areas. I get it. Certain people can't stand, so deal with it. So my point is that the club are trying to do something though, which pleases me. I'm relieved about that situation. I like the fact that we're meeting fans and we've got fan groups meeting with the hierarchy of the football club to talk about changing the stadium and to make it a better atmosphere, a better experience for fans. So I'm hopeful that we're going to see improvements over time. I think there's going to be a little bit of work over the summer, but I'm going to get a bit more information on it, a bit more detail, and I'm going to really try to get in attendance for these meetings. I'm going to really try and push for it because I was invited, but I couldn't bloody go, which was a shame. There you go. So that's where we are at the stadium at the moment. Got another video coming out tomorrow in regards to striker situations. I wanted to talk about that because we are, again, that is an area West Ham are certainly focused on. And although we've got Evan Ferguson on loan, that doesn't mean the club have gone, right, that's it. We ain't got to worry about that. We'll just see how Evan Ferguson's getting on. We're making plans for the summer. I'm quite excited about it. So we'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow with Tom. We'll be back on the channel, which will be good. Yeah. Look, I think things are looking more positive at West Ham at the moment. Things are feeling better, and when West Ham are doing better on the pitch, and people might say, "Hang on, we've just lost, and we haven't got things haven't been that great." But in terms of results, but you can clearly see we're improving. Graham Potter's been a breath of fresh air, and I do get the impression, as much as the owners get a lot of stick, and rightly so, I do feel like there's a desire there to try and get things better at West Ham. I mean, you've only got to look at. As an example, David Sullivan paying compensation for Carl McCauley. We don't do that. David Sullivan never does that. Never pays compensation. It's just not the way he operates. So the fact he's gone and paid that compensation, got it done. We're meeting with fan groups. David Sullivan's involved in that as well. Meeting with the fans. It's just I'm starting to get the sense that there is a desire to improve things at West Ham, and I'm pleased to hear that. And it's pleasing. But as I say, but also your thoughts actually. Give us some suggestions because obviously we've got to go back to the club with points, and we've got a few people, as I say, involved that are involved in West Ham Way and other people as well. So put your thoughts down. Let us know what you think of the stadium in terms of what you'd like to see improve. Be realistic, you know what I mean? So general points you can say, look, I think things that we can do to tweak that stadium and make it better, it'd be well worth putting forward because, as I say, we'll get the comments and we'll put them down and list them up and we can always take it forward to the club. But look, until then, I'll talk tomorrow and we'll talk about strikers then. But look, have a good Friday. It's weird West Ham not playing at the weekend, but I'm glad the fact we've got a bit of time now to get the players fit and ready because I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely buzzing for the Brentford game. Catch you tomorrow. Come on, your ones.